Parts of the North Pole will make it all the way down into the deep south by the middle of next week as the polar vortex splits, allowing the coldest air mass of the season to drop all the way down into the deep south. It's likely going to be the coldest temperatures they've seen since February of 2021. Before that, we'll have a round of severe weather across the southeast. Well, but this will lay down a blanket of snow along its wake and brutal conditions and temperatures and feels like conditions of easily 20 to 30 below zero, even towards into the Oklahoma City region. So if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and you're in to get all my daily content on this channel. And I would love to reach 260,000 subscribers by the end of the month. And you can help me get there by subscribing to the channel and following all my daily content. So here is the setup going forward, folks. And this is your polar vortex right here. And a piece of that will dip all the way down into the deep south, especially as we head towards this weekend and getting into the middle of next week. And this will likely take a piece of literally the North Pole and drop it all the way down into the lower 48 as it goes all the way down into Mexico, folks. This is some serious bone-chilling cold that is definitely on the way. But before that, we've got to be concerned about some severe storms because we still are in the warm sector down there into the southeast as we head into the daytime hours of tomorrow. You can see the dew points here. That is plenty of moist, unstable air mass. Dew points almost in the 70-degree range, and that is the recipe with especially a strong trough out west will tap and allow that, that create that upward rising motion air mass and have a lot of shear at the surface and to produce widespread severe weather. And here's your latest helicity updates. And this is definitely concerning, is that actually this is trending a little bit further north, actually include most areas in western Tennessee as well as into Kentucky. But we got to be concerned really originating far east Texas, especially going to Louisiana, heading into Arkansas. But once you get into Mississippi and Alabama, definitely towards the western Tennessee region and upwards into Kentucky, you've got to be concerned about all three modes of severe storms, as a line of supercell thunderstorms will be moving across, and we've got to look for tornadoes on the leading edge of that squall line. And right now, here is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center, and I would not be surprised based on the latest data that we're seeing, this would likely be expanded and actually shifted further north to include in the enhanced into Tennessee as well as in Kentucky. But for right now, it all originates down here into southeast Texas, likely towards that 5 o'clock time frame on Saturday. And this will form a nasty squall line with very intense heavy rain along with it. And we will have some isolated spin up tornadoes along with some 60 to 70 mile per hour gusty winds and some larger hail associated with it as this progresses west to east during that peak heating time frame and getting into the early evening time frame. And then once that moves out, we've got serious cold moving in on the backside. So there is your polar vortex, if you will, starting to put pieces of that Arctic air mass. And this would likely be your second strong cold front in the last couple of days. This isn't technically the most intense front as of yet, but this is still a really strong cold front that's getting its act together across Canada and much of the Dakotas, and that's going to dive further southbound as we head into the weekend, and it will likely set up our weekend snowstorm. So that's going to tap into some energy. And so we've got heavy rain further to the south, and we've got that sharp gradient where we have that battle zone. And this is very, very, very shallow Arctic air, folks. I mean, very shallow. And that's why we see this concern for freezing rain, because we do have a warmer air aloft. And then once we, have all layers of the atmosphere cold enough, that will be all snow there into Iowa, areas of far northern Illinois, Wisconsin, back into the Michigan region, and that will likely swing over into upstate New York. But we're really concerned about flash flooding, and right now they've actually upgraded this to a moderate risk for excessive rainfall as we get into the day tomorrow, because I think we'll have these training supercell thunderstorms raining at 1 to 2 inches per hour. So if it sits over the same areas for a 3-hour time span, that's 6 inches of rain, folks. And that's typically why they issue a moderate risk when they look to see possibilities of about 6 to 8 inch totals. And this is likely going to unfold in western Tennessee. Pretty much the entire state of Kentucky there just gets inundated. Southern portions of Ohio, but into West Virginia. So it just looks to be a nasty day coming up on the severe weather front and the flash flood front, as far as into the southeast and portions of the Tennessee Valley, getting up to areas of Ohio. And you can see the squall line. With this squall line, this is where you can get these QLCS tornadoes. Is right along this leading edge of this squall line. We've got to be concerned about quick spin ups, because this is going to be racing across 50, 60 miles per hour likely. So, and then to the north of that, there's the temperature gradient with that battle zone where you're going to get that freezing rain. And then the all snow transition back into northern Illinois, back into Wisconsin. And then as we head towards the evening time frame, getting into the overnight, that's when the line again races across. So it's about right here towards that 5 o'clock. And you can see literally 6-7 hours later, it's going to be all the way into the Georgia vicinity, into the Florida panhandle, back into Virginia. This is how fast it's going to be moving. So these warnings are going to be coming in fast and furious, and you're going to have little to no time to react when they put these tornado warnings out in place. You got to get in your you got to get in your safe place immediately with these movements of 60 miles an hour or plus. But the snow is going to be alive and well, and some of this could be on the heavy variety up there into Michigan. That will be this weekend, and then the true Arctic air comes down. I mean, this is kind of a rare event, folks. We haven't seen something this intense, especially for the middle part of the country, since that historic February 2021 Arctic outbreak. And I don't think it's going to be quite as intense, but this is going to be pretty intense coming up to bat for your middle of the week. There's a 1048 Arctic high pressure getting its act together up there in Canada, just waiting to nosedive south. And whenever it does, it's not going to have anything to stop it until it gets all the way down into Mexico, with that Arctic air mass plunging all the way down to the deep south, and likely a freeze all the way down to the deep south yet again. So here's your Monday morning temperatures. Yes, that is not a misprint, folks. That is 45 below zero up there in Canada. We've got 30s below zeros up there in the Dakotas. Those single digits drop all the way into Nebraska. We've got 20 showing up on the map in Kansas. This is Monday morning. This is that second surge of Arctic air. The third one is going to be the real deal. And as we head into Tuesday afternoon, this is going to be the real deal coming. So these are likely high temperatures on Tuesday. You've got negative numbers well below zero, 20 below zero for highs up there in the Dakotas, dropping 10 below zero up there in Nebraska, below zero for highs in Kansas, folks, single digits in Oklahoma. We've got 20s continuing to plunge further south. You can see the sharp gradient of that Arctic air mass, and it's going to be quick, folks. So yeah, you're going to be feeling this front in a big way. It's likely going to impact the middle part of the country and then separate it moving east. So if you're likely east of the Rockies, you're going to feel this. If you're west of the Rockies, you're really not going to be feeling this Arctic intrusion that's going to be on the table heading into the middle of next week. And as it does, it will be bringing some snowfall with it. So there you go. There's that 1058 Arctic high pressure. 1051 parked itself over Nebraska. You know that's some serious cold coming southbound. We've got snow flying out ahead of it. So we'll, in the warm sector, we'll have kind of a chillier rain starting to fall into the afternoon hours in, say, North Texas, and then it'll quickly change over to a freezing rain. We've got freezing freezing rain in Oklahoma, snow into portions of the Oklahoma City region. But as this moves southbound, I was looking at some of the guidance, folks. I mean, we dropped to 25 and then 20 there in Dallas, and still raining. That is the very shallow cold air mass going to be at the surface, and then the warmer air aloft. It's pretty rare when you're 20 degrees and you're still raining outside. That would freeze everything on contact, and that is just a nasty setup coming up going into Tuesday night for portions of Dallas and Northeast Texas, and then that swings into Oklahoma, and then it just gets crazy cold back behind it. And look at the breakdown of what's to come. So you got the heavier rains between now through Wednesday afternoon across the southeast. You've got the transition to some ice, freezing rain, and some accumulating ice across Oklahoma, portions of North Texas, Northeast Texas, getting into northern Louisiana, as well as into Arkansas. You'll have some mixed precipitation with sleet, but then likely all snow on the backside. So you got the weekend system for much of the Ohio Valley into north central upper Midwest area, and then you'll have the Central Plains, and then the setup by Tuesday heading into overnight Wednesday morning will drop further south into Oklahoma. Portions of North Texas and Eastern Texas would likely stop somewhere in the vicinity of Shreveport, as well as include the entire state of Arkansas as well. And shifting off to the east, look at the gradient. So you got severe storms in Tennessee coming up with tornadic activity on Saturday. You got flooding rains Saturday night into Sunday, and then you got very cold air coming in on the backside with snow likely on Tuesday and Wednesday for Tennessee. So it's going to be a quick transition, literally from spring to full-blown winter for those areas just in a couple of days time span, as we've got some pretty intense weather going to be on the table, and then it just gets brutal cold back behind it. I mean, these are actual temperatures heading into Wednesday morning, folks. We got well below zero. We've got below zero temperatures all the way from Montana to Texas, folks. That's a rare event coming up. Single digits for Dallas, 11 degrees down there towards central Texas. You know that's some serious cold when it drops that far south with that intense. 14 for Arkansas. We've got single digits in Illinois, below zero there in Missouri, and the feels like it just gets seriously cold. That's frostbite criteria, well below zero, if not 50 below zero up there into the Dakotas. You've got 27 below zero, feels like in Oklahoma City, folks. That is the real deal. We have not seen that since February of 2021. You're likely 10 below zero there in Dallas. Goes all the way down to the deep south. 12 degrees feels like in Houston. Okay, that gives you an idea of what's to come with this serious Arctic blast. It's going to be on the table. Compliments of that polar vortex splitting, which we've been talking about on this channel for many weeks, guys. We've had plenty of advance warning that's saying this thing is going to come, and it's going to come in with a vengeance, and this is exactly what's going to happen. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch the next update. Why I protect you before and after the storm.